responders visit after action. We made it. So did Ash. Here we go. Trying behind the badge, headed to after action. We're all together here. We're waiting, doing big things, pushing the envelope.
We might have some nearby.
Okay, yeah.
So that's where learning to calm your nervous system changes that. So instead of having panic, and plus with triggers and PTSD, there's really no rhyme or reason to when something's going to happen. Like we have no idea what will happen. So having things that will regulate your nervous system for you instantaneously just makes life so much easier and gives the control back. Because now first responders are a little so right, yeah. Wait, hold on, let me think.
Severe OCD. We had to really just dive in deep individually and start working with her through that. She mentioned she had an amazing experience. This guy's fucking recording me again. So as I mentioned earlier, so if you have someone who has substance use issues and they need to detox, that is our medical licensed detox facility next door. So we'll stabilize them there. It typically takes about 3 to 5 days. It is also an all-women's program and it's an all-female staff. There are civilians in there as well. Most of our clients are working professionals, so we work closely with a lot of flight attendants, the airlines, we work with a lot of nurses unions. So again, it's not people off the streets, it's really professionals, but I do want to put that out there that there are a civilian population there, but it is a licensed detox facility for women.
Background. So my background's in occupational therapy. Still very vague, most people don't know what that is. So the easiest way to understand it, especially with first responders, mental health and PTSD, is occupation defining how you occupy your time. So it's more about human function and human behavior than human growth, right?
I'm not gonna eat
Dude,
it.
actually now you can just go ahead and eat it.
Oh, you don't have to wait. There's
Yeah, that's what, yeah, no, you can.
So, what is it? That's funny. I'm just reflecting on like the past 12 years of doing a lot of this. So when I first got into the mental health space about 12 years ago, I came from geriatric care, and I was in that world for about 10 or 12 years. And in that world, there isn't really much progress. It's stabilize, make feel comfortable, but mostly everybody that you work with ends up dying or passing. And it's very rewarding, but it's tough. It takes a toll on you eventually, especially since you build a lot of relationships and connections. And when the opportunity presented itself to really get into the mental health space, my immediate answer was yes. And then within 2 months, we opened up our first program for men. From that moment, I was always the first point of contact for any client that was looking to come in. And being the owner of the organization, you have a lot of companies out there that, they're in the back scenes, they're collecting the checks, they're counting the money, they're paying the bills, but there's not a lot of interaction with the community and with the actual experience itself. And for me, I was very passionate right away about that vulnerable state of mind that an individual goes through before they go to treatment, that lost hope, where they feel like they've lost everything, and creating a safe space and opportunity for that individual to get the help and a glimpse of hope that's on that horizon.
Right.
And that is such an extremely rewarding experience. It's been 12 years and I'm still the first line of answering phone calls.
And I saw that firsthand today. You are truly taking phone calls.
Yeah.
It seems like every minute of the day.
I have a very understanding wife.
Yes, and from clients. It's you're at the at the bottom there, kind of answering these phone calls, but from the very beginning of the process.
Yeah, I think that's super important. I think it like you said, from the horse's mouth, right? I think that especially not just first responders, civilians, anybody is really looking to get some help. I think if you hear it directly from the owner, like if it starts from the top, it works its way all the way, right, and down the ladder. And so, anyways, about 12 years ago, we started our first programs for men, And about 4 years into our operation, we worked a lot with unions, railways. We worked with Teamsters. So we worked with a lot of guys that had a lot of trauma, working professionals, been in their fields for a long time. And we had Dr. AJ Popke was our EMDR therapist. He was the co-creator of EMDR with Dr. Shapiro. And we did some phenomenal work. And because of that, we started developing a lot of relationships with first responder groups, unions across the nation. And it was all great, had a great experience. Everybody that came through the programs had a great experience, but there were still some things missing. And so in our communications with a lot of the departments, a lot of clinicians that we worked with, there were a lot of gaps and holes in the industry of mental health and care for first responders. And so we were tasked or asked by the universe to create a program specifically for first responders exclusively. And so in that flame was the birth of After Action. And there was a couple of things that came up during our conversations. Like, we didn't go into it with an ego saying, like, we're the experts, we know what we're doing, we're clinicians or business people, and we're just gonna create what we think is best. We really reached out to Border Patrol, we reached out to IAFF, union, locals, we reached out to first responder police officers, LAPD, Sheriff's Department, and we brought everybody together and we did a training and a kind of virtual meeting of sorts where we were just listening to what is it that you guys are needing, what is it that you're missing, and so from that we decided to create After Action. The couple pieces that were brought up in that was that, number one, there isn't a program for female first responders anywhere in the nation exclusively for female first responders, and we already had an all-women's program that was run by an all-female staff, so it was a really easy and natural transition for us. So first and foremost, we created After Action for Women, which is the first all-female program in the nation for female first responders. The second piece was the intensity of the care, right? A lot of times people are coming to us because, you know, as first responders, you're constantly in the run into the burning building, run into the gunfight, don't think twice, really just action first, high intensity. Your own self-care, though, gets put on the back burner. And when you're ready to finally get some help, you don't just need someone. It is sometimes as simple as just talking to somebody, but sometimes it's a lot more intense than that. And so one of the other things that was brought up is the intensity behind the programs. How much is offered? What are the things that are available to individuals when they go to these kinds of programs? Are they just standing around and, you know, shooting the shit or eating burgers or cooking their own meals or whatever? And so we really wanted to design a program where every hour on the dot, clients are doing something. You're going through, you're working with EMDR specialists, brain spotting, family therapy, sensory modulation, counseling, case management, life skills, whatever it is. It's 6 to 8 hours a day of back-to-back-to-back services, right? Obviously, lunch and dinner, you're not doing services. You know, we obviously want to have fun too. We go fishing, we go hiking, we go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. Like, it's a combination of a lot of different things. So there was that piece. For me, most importantly, was ease of access. What I was told is that a lot of guys, a lot of gals, they're ready to get some help. Nobody picks up the phone. They don't have the resources to come out. Their insurance doesn't cover it. You know, it's like, just no. For a responder to go from, I don't have a problem, I'm okay, I'm fine, masking it out, to, okay, maybe I need some help, and then they have to go through a series of hurdles to just get that help, they're never going to reach back out again. And so for me, that's why I answered the, you know, I'm getting chills because I can't tell you how many times people, after they left treatment, because I don't do any of the treatment, we have an amazing team to do it, but that called me afterwards and says, like, you saved my life because you picked up the phone and, like, you walked me through that. And for me, that is so rewarding to be able to get somebody the care that they need right away.
On the show, we talk.
The other piece that was brought up, which I think is also massively important, is the family component. A lot of times when a responder is going to treatment, their spouse, you know, marital issues are pretty common in this world. They're common in any world, but, you know, especially with the heightened issues with work and, you know, and silence of the job and what it requires, and it's the relationships they're not tender, they're very loose, and so we get a lot of guys or gals that come in that their spouses don't know what's going on. They have no idea. They have no idea how to support. They themselves are losing it in a sense, right? They have to take care of the kids. They have the bills, the this, the that. They have the job. They have their own jobs. And so for us, the family component is a super huge piece. We want to provide support to the spouses that are at home, and that's why we provide individual coaching and family support to the clients at home as well. We try to bridge that gap while the loved one is here. That is super important to us. We want to make sure that we set them up for success long term. Like our ideology, we're not miracle workers here. We're not creating, a Disneyland experience for somebody. But what we're trying to do is create a solid foundation. We're trying to give them an opportunity to start down that path and give them the tools that they need, practical tools that the individual can use when they go home. And part of that is creating a support system that is supportive when they go home.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So it sounds.
Honestly, that's my answer because things change constantly. We always have to be willing to pivot and adjust if something doesn't work. I think that's our best character trait as an organization is being so close to the ground and listening to everything that if something isn't working, then we're quick to maneuver. I don't know what's going to happen next year. There's a lot of things that can change with insurance coverages, a lot of things that can change with funding sources. There's other opportunities like, meeting you and working with Survive First and your organizations, and and that can lend to so many opportunities down the road. So I don't know what's going to happen in 3 to 5 years. I'm just waiting for the next phone call to come in, and that's all I'm interested in and curious about. So
Absolutely.
I know that's not the answer you're looking for.